Coming to you live from Tennessee, from the east to the west. We are talking Cowboys everything. And you just entered
the Cowboy Zone.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cowboy Zone. I'm your host, Marcus Jones, the Bluff City Cowboy, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee.
And this is Lambo from Johnson City, Tennessee with Cowboys, y'all.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us today. Lambo, like you've been sweating a little bit.
Yeah, you said I was looking for my phone, and you're like, I'm gonna go ahead and start this. So I was looking over. I was running all over the house trying to get back before the intro started. Ran outside to the car. As soon as I sat down, boom, we're live.
Okay, you found your phone?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. All right, well, we're good to go. Like I said,
ready to rock.
Thank you guys for joining us. Another episode of the Cowboy Zone. I see we got quite a few people starting to come in. William Coulter, as always, appreciate you joining us. Mendoza, as always, thank you for tuning in with us as well. Mark Cantor, appreciate you tuning in tonight. And the Beard Gang in the house, Brian, thank you for joining us, as always, appreciate it. I see I got one of my classmates, Raphael, tuning in for a few minutes, so thank you for tuning in and supporting. And looks like a new name, Keith M. I don't know if you're new or not, but thank you for tuning in. I see you watching through YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to both channels. Got it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I'm Glove City Cowboys, my co-host Lambo Cowboy. All right, before we get started, Lambo, how's the new job going?
Man, it's going pretty good. I got my let me see, hold on. I got my there we go.
Oh, you're official now, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, James Gary, thank you for joining, man. Appreciate it. Keep bringing those great comments like you did last week, too. So no more Bob the Builder hard hats, huh? You're officially with the John Deere hat.
Yep. Yeah, they make us wear those embarrassing hats for the first couple weeks, just so everybody knows you're new.
Yeah.
And finally got a regular hat to wear though.
Yeah, Taiwan, thank you for joining us as well. Appreciate it.
Hey, what's up, Taiwan? And what's up, everybody? Beard Gang in the house. Man, kids, I swear, my new draft hat got look, it done spilled stuff all over the front of it.
Oh man.
Anyway, it's all good.
All right, so let's get into it. About to bring you an hour of OTA information. Before we start, I know we got a lot of people in here who watch a lot of podcasts, so I know you guys have pretty much heard everything that's happened so far during the OTAs. So thank all of you guys for coming in and tuning in and watching us for an hour or so just to get our perspective on these topics. I promise we're going to try to hit you with a couple of things that nobody else has talked about, and our perspectives are definitely going to be different than what you've heard. I see I got another one of my classmates, Terry Rudd, tuning in, Niners fan, so definitely thank you for coming in and supporting. And Sadiqa Charles, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you coming back again to join us. All right, Lambo, so before we get started, let's hit the first topic. I know you're a little bit more passionate about this one than I am. I mean, I'm pretty indifferent about it. But we have some number changes.
Yeah.
So over the course of the week, we had Jalen Smith go back to the number he's worn since he started playing football in 7th grade, number 9. And we also had Donovan Wilson going back to his college number 6. And then going back further than that, of course, we got our first round pick, Micah Parsons, pretty much taking Cedric Wilson's number 11. And Cedric Wilson has settled in on the number 1 for now.
Yeah.
So, Lambo, your thoughts on the number changes? I know you kind of talked about this with me privately, but let the people know what you think.
It's this whole process of the number changes has kind of made me feel like an old man. Like I feel like I truly feel like I'm 36 now because I feel like I'm just so set in my ways and just bullish on change, I guess. I'll get used to it, adapt. Every time there's changes in the NFL, even if I don't like it, I adapt and I start to love it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure in due time, once I get used to it, it's gonna take me a while to get used to it. I don't know, man. It's just weird. like I know you see it in college and you see it in high school, so it
Mhm.
shouldn't be. It's not like I've never seen it before. It's just I don't know. You think 50s when you think linebackers, or sometimes 90s, and it's gonna be weird. But I am the Donovan Wilson number 6 is kind of growing on me a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna lie, it is. It's gonna take me a bit to get used to it, though. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just
Golden say he loves the single digits on DBs. I'm
yeah,
with you.
it's different. DBs, it looks. I like it better on DBs, but linebackers, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see how it goes.
Wait till we get a single digit on a defensive end. Now that's gonna look strange.
So that's disgusting.
Now I'm not as opposed to number changes and who gets what, but a single digit on a defensive end is an ugly number to me. I'm sorry.
I don't want to see anything crazy like no left tackles wearing number 7 or something like. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
That'll be a big ass 7.
Next thing you know, 5 years down the road, they're gonna have quarterbacks wearing 92 or something stupid.
So yeah, I see William Coulter coming in with the comment. No matter what number Jalen wears, he sucks.
Dang.
I got Terry Rudd agreeing with him. This is you gonna get this reference. One of our classmates. He was kind of our star player named Chris Herring. He wore number 9. He was a middle linebacker too.
See,
interesting reference.
Are you biting yourself in your own foot if you're Jalen Smith, where the fan base is already kind of like on edge with you in a way? It's kind of like a 50-50 split, really.
Yeah.
Maybe a 60-40 split among people that are just kind of disappointed in him after his contract. And then you go and, right at like a few years after Romo, go ahead and try that. I mean, I'm sure you don't care. It was his high school number. It was his college number. He paid for it with his money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his right.
Exactly.
But West Coast says no. Say he would know more than anybody because I know you talk to Jalen. I'm sure Jalen don't care at all what anybody's saying about it. He probably don't.
Those numbers mean a lot. I mean, I'm sure the fact that he's worn that number since 7th grade, that number has some significance to him.
Yeah,
and the fact that he paid $500,000 to get it, that definitely means it has some significance to him.
Man.
So if a guy's that dedicated, more power to him. I have no problems with it.
Yeah, that's crazy. But then again, I'm thinking with my own wallet, so it's gonna sound crazy to me. But there is one positive I say about it, that you make a good point there. Although I don't dig it personally, I know some do. I don't. That's just me. But it is nice to know that it does have some significant meaning. It's not like it's not just a number. It goes way back for him. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and Marlon said he had no idea he had to pay for the numbers. There's an interesting rule in the NFL that if a guy changes a number after the season starts, they pretty much have to buy the inventory of the numbers of the jerseys that were projected to be sold, kind of buy out the old inventory so that they can make the new inventory. And because Jalen's jersey was so popular, there were so many out there, he had to pretty much buy all of them. For the average player, you don't really hear about that in terms of them having to spend a lot of money. But when you're a player like Jalen and you're that popular, you kind of have to pay for being popular, basically. And West Coast breaking news with us saying he didn't have to pay for the number.
Oh,
I can take that however I want it. I mean, he is the he's been a cash cow for Jerry for a while. I know they got the marketing deal with CVE, and he's pretty much kind of been the face of the Cowboys outside of Dak and Zeke for the past years. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm pretty sure West Coast knows more than all of us about it.
The only thing that honestly that I feel bad about is the people that probably don't have a ton of money to buy jerseys all the time. And maybe it's like, I know a guy that literally just bought a 54 jersey like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
He is pissed off. He's like, man, I just bought like a month ago. I never bought a 54 jersey, so it don't bother me. But like if Lamb would switch to 2 right now, I'd be pissed just because I bought my 88 jersey. But
right. And West Coast constantly bringing these great comments saying he would never pay for something that's free next year. It was Jerry's idea to pay for it or idea to change it. That's
wow.
That's very interesting. I know you talked about this earlier, West Coast. I'm definitely got to tune in to what you put up
Well,
earlier to see that.
Jerry probably thinks he's gonna get some. He's gonna get another spike in jersey sales.
Oh, definitely. I mean, everybody who had a Taylor number is gonna re-up. So the money's gonna come back one way or the other. So how do you feel about the Donovan Wilson change? I mean, does it really affect you at all?
37 is not really the most attractive number.
I hated that number.
So, and number 6 is a dope number. That's one of my favorite football numbers. Is number 6. It looks much better on him than it did on Chris Jones. So,
right.
I like single digit numbers better. Like you said earlier with secondary, I think they just look clean on guys in the secondary. So I dig it. I like Wilson wearing 6.
Mo Zavala, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your support as always. And Sadiqa Charles says, I hope he plays better this year. And honestly, I feel like it's a good thing because again, we talked about the significance of that number.
Yeah.
And when you have that much money and you're that well known, you always need an edge or motivation. So getting his old number may bring a spark. It may make him feel better when he gets on the field, kind of like putting that S on your chest like you're Superman.
As Dion says, feel good, play good.
Yeah. Look good, feel good.
No, look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah,
play good, get paid good,
get paid good,
eat
right.
good, live good, die good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's just hope that's the case. All right. So let me ask you this question then. Nobody's gotten these numbers yet, but let's say somebody wanted 22 or 8.
I'm actually I know a lot of fans want those numbers officially retired, which, by the way, I know that nobody's been giving them, but they're not retired. I've seen some people saying they're retired. The Cowboys don't retire numbers, but they just haven't. Yeah.
I heard the equipment manager is real particular about those numbers when it comes to guys trying to get them.
A lot of people aren't cool with it, but honestly, I would love to see 12, 88, or 22 in circulation, but not just like, you can't just give that out to anybody. Like for example, someone comes in the league like Zeke, you're taking with the 4th overall pick. Okay, if Jerry wanted to throw 22 at someone like that, a high caliber elite talent, top 10 talent, it makes sense. But not if it's like your 5th string running back that's going to have a 3rd spot on your roster, like running back roster. Like, I mean, you're not giving that guy a 22. So like it wouldn't bother me. I like seeing numbers circulate because I've always been a fan of how the 88 club is and everything. And it wouldn't bother me to see the other numbers like that, but it's got to be a special talent. Don't just give it to anybody.
Yeah. And Brian, I guess you say these numbers are kind of sacred. I remember hearing a story that Zeke considered 22 when he came out, and somebody talked him out of it.
I thought I do too, man.
I remember reading a story about that, and somebody was like, "Nah, I don't think you want to put that pressure on your back," and he went to 21 instead. And Mo Zavala brings up a great point about 88 club. I would love to see them kind of pass the torch down with other numbers.
I would too. I think
certain positions.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, but something tells me that a lot of those guys would actually be honored to see their numbers be used again.
Yeah.
I think Roger would be cool with it.
I think so too. And another thing you got to remember, the guys from 20, 30 years ago, they're irrelevant right now. So that would give them some relevance, get them a chance to get back in the star, make a little money, get a little bit of notoriety. So like you said, I think some of these older guys would be open to it if they were given an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I see my classmate throwing shade, talking about Zeke should change his number to 50 and become Pollard's fullback.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hater.
Man, Zeke's looking good this offseason.
Yeah, he is.
He's looking strong, man. And those drills, he's looking real good.
Right.
His feet look great.
He's got those 2 tackles coming back, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Who Dak says looks like they're in the best shape of their life.
Yeah. Let's hope so. I mean, we hear that about Tyron every year, though.
Yeah, it seems like every
year.
He's
in the best shape of his life until week 7.
Yeah.
And then we're hoping he can play the next week.
Yeah.
And DJ Dog, thank you for tuning in as well. Saying 74 has been won the preseason, but once the regular season starts, no chance. Yeah, and West Coast bringing another great nugget in here, talking about the marketing. Those numbers have their own giant. Cheeto wore 33 and Joe Looney wears Larry Allen's number. Now, somebody brought that up in the comments as well. Okay, and thank you for pointing that out. He said Zeke wanted to wear Marshall Faulk's number, not Emmett's. I just remember hearing a story about Zeke considered 22, and somebody kind of told him, "No, you don't want that pressure." But I mean, I'll take your word for it, West Coast. You definitely know more than I would on that one. And Charlie Moffitt says, never seen a running back jump cut trash cans like he does. Makes the trash cans look bad. Charlie has a thing against running backs, so he has to put that in there. William Coulter, thank you for tuning in. As always, appreciate it. All right, Lambo. So before we move on, let's talk about this real quick, because this is another number change nobody's really talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about Micah Parsons getting the number 11, and he's pretty much said in so many words. It was like, I want the number, and I got the number.
Yeah, he deboed it.
Right. I don't think there was no negotiation. I don't think he paid any money. And Cedric Wilson is going to number 1, which I don't think I've ever seen someone wear number 1 in the regular season for the Cowboys, other than like a kicker.
Yeah, I was gonna say, last thing I can remember, I think it was a kicker.
Yeah. So with that being said,
I don't like number 1.
I don't either.
It's too skinny.
It's a cliche number.
There's not enough wide. I don't know.
It's a Pee Wee number to me. So what do you think that means about Cedric Wilson's chances? Like, he basically just got his number taken. Like,
I think we're in the same boat where we hinted at it last show, how we felt about Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson possibly battling out for a spot. If you think Simi Fehoko is going to make the active, and we roll with 5, I think Wilson would be the one out, and I think Noah Brown would be the one in if that was the scenario.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good battle to look out for between those guys. And I mean, there may be a surprise too. There's always that one guy, like you mentioned, who flashes and kind of sticks around. So
and like I always tell people, our top 3 receivers are so talented, and the majority of snaps that they get are so large. 4, 5, and 6 need to be very strong on special teams, because they're only getting maybe 20 snaps a game at the most, absolute most. So when a guy like a Cedric Wilson and all he's doing is fair catching punts, that's not really contributing to the team. Like, honestly, we need playmakers, we need explosiveness on special teams. And I just keep saying it. If somebody comes in and they look good on special teams, don't be surprised if a guy like Cedric Wilson gets the boot, because he only had 15 catches last year. I don't know why people think 15 catches secures a guy a spot on the team, but just something to be aware of.
Yeah.
And Mark Canada talks about, Brennan the Eagles. They're saying he's flashing on special teams in particular. I know he was kind of a special teams demon at Texas as well, because he didn't really start there. And Mendoza, you and me are about the only ones on this boat every year. And Lambo, Noah has a spot unless somebody shows out more and he doesn't get hurt. I 100% agree with that. Yeah. So Mendoza brings up another point, saying he think he's competing with Dixon. Simi hasn't looked good 2 weeks in a row, but it's just in shorts. Yeah, that Dixon move was very interesting to me. When you talk about a guy who specialized in being a gunner and being a punt returner in college. I don't know if you guys pay attention to special team snaps, but Cedric Wilson played a little bit of gunner last year, and I don't think he looked very good at it. So you bring in a guy who plays the same special team spots as him, and then you also hear the talk that now Rico Dowdle's starting to get some snaps at gunner and special and punt return and kick return. So it sounds like that's the guy who's getting phased out, because if he's only contributing 15 catches, that's not enough to keep you on the team as a number 4 receiver. I'm sorry. And it hurts me to say this because he's a Memphis guy too. I've watched this kid since junior high.
I didn't know he was a Memphis dude.
Yeah, I mean, born and raised in Memphis, played for Melrose. His dad is a fixture in the Orange Mound community. So yeah, I'm not just saying this because I hate him, because I love him as a player and I want to see him do well. But sometimes you just got to be objective on this stuff and just see the writings on the wall. And yeah, like I just said, yeah, they're trying some stuff out. Like with Rico, when you see guys start to get put in positions that guys used to play the year before, that means they're starting to make some changes. All right, Lambo, let's go to another subject.
Too singular, just like his number.
Exactly. He does one thing: fair catch. He gets one catch a game because he only gets 15 catches a year.
Oh yeah, someone said, yeah, but what about his special teams? He's a punt returner often, right. And you were like, when name and time he returned the ball for more than, I don't know, 15, 20 yards.
Never. Go look up the stats. He has 12 career returns. Only one was over 10 yards on a punt. Everything else has been fair catches. That doesn't secure you a spot on a team.
What's up, Charlie? Oh, I meant to say, yeah, I clicked on the wrong thing. There it is, Matt. What's up, Matt?
Oh yeah, congratulations on the new edition, Matt. Thank you for tuning in, Professor O. Great show last week, man. Appreciate all your knowledge coming in here. Looking forward to bring you back again.
Oh, it's Professor O. Okay,
that's Professor O. Yeah, and Charlie did make a good point that you put up there about Dotto looked good last year on that kick return.
Yeah, and even carrying the ball, he got a couple carries. He looked like he had some solid burst and vision.
Yeah, definitely. I talk about this all the time, and I promise I'm gonna do a special team show so I can break all this stuff down. But once you go past the starters at every position, the bottom of every position is a special teams guy. You go to wide receiver. Like I said, the top 3 guys are going to get all the snaps. 4, 5, and 6 have to be special teams. You go to running back. Zeke and Pollard, that's 99% of the snaps if they're both healthy. Rico Dowdle has to play every special teams to touch the field. You go to the defensive line. They have a heavy rotation. Whoever's at 5 and 6 has to be strong in special teams. You look at linebacker this year. We got LVE and Jalen going to get a bunch of snaps if healthy. You got 2 highly drafted players who are going to get a bunch of snaps if healthy. You just signed Keanu Neal, who's the coach's pet.
And he likes him at linebacker, he's saying.
Exactly. He loves him at linebacker. Mm-hmm. That's 5 guys who you're expecting to be contributors. Whoever the number 6 linebacker is, he has to be a special teams demon to get a spot.
Francis Bernard.
Exactly. There's no potential on the 53-man roster at the bottom. It has to be special teams. Yeah. Because potential will have us looking like 2017 special teams, 2018.
Yeah, forget that. Oh, and side note, Jalen posted like 37 seconds ago a good detailed reason for why he wanted to wear number 9. I won't read it all because it's like 3 paragraphs, but y'all go check it out, his tweet, and see why it meant a lot to him to wear that 9.
I see Mark Hanna say he has to go.
Oh, actually, here's a quick him and Pee Wee.
Uh-huh.
All the way up through I guess high school.
Yeah, he's always
I mean, since he was a little kid.
Yeah, 9 has to have some significance to them because when he wore 54, his brother who wore 45 when he played for Dallas.
Yeah.
I've never heard the story about the significance of 9 in their family. I remember when we had George Teague on, he talked about the number 13 and number 31.
Yeah.
He said 13 had a significance in his family, and when he got into the league, he couldn't wear it, so he went to 31 because of that, just switching them around.
Yeah. I had just was talking back and forth with George a couple days ago about the whole number thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember what he said, but he said something along the lines he said, as much as I like 13, I promise you I would have stayed with 31.
Mm-hmm.
And I I said that's because you respect all those fans that bought that 31, and he's like, yeah,
George
so,
is the type of guy though.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a true player, true football player. And Mendoza kind of backing me up on what I said, talking about fans don't realize how many special units has for these guys to make contributions on. Matt Owen dropping some knowledge on us, saying Neal is aiming to play at 222. I mean, just looking at some of the footage that I've seen, and you said he has to lose some weight to get down to that. I can see that.
I didn't realize he had that
on
much weight on him.
Yeah.
Whoo-wee. I'm excited to see him playing out in the wheel and everything.
Yeah, me too. DJ Dog talked about special teams have starters on them as well. I think I talked about this before. The top 5 guys on your special teams, those are key players because that's the core of all of your special teams. And I promise I'm gonna do this special team show soon because I gotta break all this down and talk about these core players and their importance. And we talk about a guy, I just throw one name out there, Dorrance Armstrong. Everybody wants to get rid of Dorrance Armstrong, but he plays 60% of all the special team snaps. He's the only defensive lineman that plays more than 20% of the defensive snaps since he's been on the team. That's significant. That's what keeps him around. Because like I said, every position needs one guy who's going to play all the special teams. And Mendoza talks about he's excited for Neal. I'm definitely excited about him too. I'm excited to see how they set this line up. And we'll talk about that in a minute once I get to this last question from Taiwan. He says, do we think Boss Man can play kick return? I think he was a punt returner in college a little bit, if I'm not mistaken.
I know I was looking into it a little bit, not much at Kentucky, but I know when he was still very young, back in 2017 at LSU, he had a huge punt return where he reverse field 2 times and scored all the way from his own 35. So he's got the talent, obviously, and he's got the speed.
Yeah, I knew he was a punt return. I don't know about kick return.
It'd be interesting though to see if they would give him a shot. I guess it also depends on if he's starting or not. I don't know if they're gonna.
That's true. Well, with kick return, there aren't a lot of returnable balls anyway, so you could
that's true.
Throw him back there every once in a while just to field a couple and see what he can do if he wants to bring it out or not.
Wow, now I realize why Brandon Jacob got brought up earlier in the chat. How did I not know about this? You know about Brandon Jacob?
What did he do?
Jacobs? He's eyeing a comeback as a defensive end.
Wow, I can see that.
Ain't he?
I don't know if you remember his story. I think, if I'm not mistaken,
he's a big dude.
Played for Auburn, and he was a defensive end in college, and they converted him to running back.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I remember that story vividly because I remember talking about that in college, and they had the 3 running back, the 3-headed monster with Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams, and then Brandon Jacobs was the 3rd back. And they talked about he was the converted guy to kind of be the goal line guy. And Matt Owen, we're not going to talk about safety right now, Matt. He said it was the number 5 safety in the nation coming out of college. We won't touch safety right now. You know what happens when you talk about changing guys to safety. That'll become a whole nother show in itself. All right, so we're at 30 minutes. Everybody who's joining us, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all these great comments so far. You've really been fueling the show on just one topic. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like this video and make sure that you share this video so that everyone can see what we're talking about and they can see all the great questions and comments that you guys are bringing up as well. So wherever you're watching from, make sure you share it to your personal page. Make sure you share it to your favorite page.
And thank you for whoever did 32 shares on my Cowboys Y'all page. It says 32 shares. It don't show me who did it, but I think it might have been Beer Gang because you was the first one to comment on that page.
More than likely.
So I appreciate that. Yeah. That's awesome.
And Mark Hanna says, keep an eye on Bohanna. He's a coach's favorite so far. That one would be surprising, but again, I talked about this last week with Professor O. I know D-Law. I know where D-Law starting at, and I know where Diggs is starting at. The other 9 spots, I have no clue what's going to happen. So nothing surprises me right now in terms of defensive line or linebacker or secondary. Brian says it was him, Lambo.
I had a feeling.
Thank
Appreciate you,
Brian.
man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so let's go to another topic, and we'll talk about the injured players returning. We've kind of hit on this a little bit. So, Mendoza brings up a question asking about Kennedy. Haven't heard anything from him. I mean, we don't know yet. I guess we'll just all have to wait and see on that one, but he better make some moves soon because those positions are getting tight.
Yeah.
So we talk about injured players returning. Lambo, you brought it up earlier talking about Dak says Tyron and Lyle in the best shape of their life. We got Blake Jarvin coming back.
Yeah.
Working on the sideline a little bit. So we had Zach Martin was out the end of the year. I think he's still kind of working on things, but he's returning as well. So things are looking interesting in terms of this team and getting everybody back healthy. So how
and then obviously most important of all,
Dak is back. Exactly. Most important of all.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
And he's actually oh my bad.
No, go ahead.
I have a delay. It might be my internet. I was gonna say Dak is he's got the best odds right now on comeback player of the year. I was just reading up on. So yeah. But what'd you say before that? Sorry, it cut out for me for a few seconds.
Oh, I was just gonna go through the comments. Matt Owen talks about KZ. Another one I forgot about. They were saying he may start off on PUP, but it looks like he's back out there and he's moving pretty well. And again, great viewers. Just keep bringing up names. Completely forgot about Tristan Hill. He's returning as well. Looks like he's out there trying to get back in shape and get to moving again. So we got a lot of guys coming back.
You realize, it's like I mean, it's huge how many players we have coming back from injury,
Right.
and it makes you think about how horrendous of a nightmare last season was with the injury bug. I mean, we got some big time talent back. I know we've all been pretty harsh on our defense, but even the defense, had a lot to overcome at times. Man, I'm just so excited. I think I'm more excited than anything just to watch our defense this season.
Yeah.
I really am.
I am too.
And I'm excited to see if they're how the tight end one battle is going to work out, because Dalton Schultz, I mean, was extremely good last year in his starts. So it'll be interesting too.
Yeah. Charlie Moffitt. Training camp is definitely going to be fun. Like I said, we have no clue what's going to happen on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, even at linebacker, Keanu Neal has thrown some hints out there. He's going to start off at will, and then he's gonna fill the role that Jalen's filled for the last 3 years. I have no clue why. He's going to be more of our dime backer. So just that move alone makes our defense look better, because Lambo and I say this all the time. Jalen should not be on the field on obvious passing downs when it's third down.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they do the snap count and everything with the additions of these talented linebackers we've added.
I'm interested to see what they do in nickel.
Yeah.
Is it Neal, Parsons, or LVE? Out of those three, which two are going to be our nickel backs? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of questions. So let me ask you this. With all these guys coming back, when we get in the training camp, how would you play them? Would you kind of ease them in? Would you get them out there and put them out there full speed? How would you work that out?
I'd probably ease them in. Honestly, I would just ease them in, take it easy. I don't see any reason to rush it too quick with all the depth we have right now, and a lot of the young guys really need some reps as well. Finally get a good off season where everybody can really get in some good work.
Yeah. I think at that defensive tackle position, Hill has to come in at 100% full speed, because that position is tight and there's no time to waste.
Yeah, for him, I'm hoping Tristan Hill makes the team, which is crazy because the first year or two, I was extremely critical on him. But last year, the flashes I saw before he was injured, I really want to see some more of him. So I hope he does make the active this year.
And the professor throwing out a great stat. LV has worse numbers than Jalen in coverage. That definitely surprises me.
Yeah, that surprises me too.
That was one of his strengths coming out of college, his coverage ability. And Eric Berger says Parson, Niels, and Cox will be in on nickel. And I'm assuming he's putting Cox as a big nickel, either strong safety or nickel back. So it's a lot of stuff to pay attention to when we get to the season. But yeah, which player you most outside of Dak? Which player you most excited about seeing come back, Lambo? And guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Who's outside of Dak? Who's the guy you're most looking forward to seeing come back?
Man. Gotta think on it. Well, it's not the funnest position to watch, but for me, the most exciting to see come back is Dak's bodyguard on the left side, Tyron Smith.
That's what Matt Owen just said too.
You gotta have him on the field. It's huge. Outside of him, LVE. I'm a big LVE fan. Hoping he can make a good comeback and produce like he did his rookie season again.
Yeah.
But defense, I say LVE. Offense, I'll say Tyron.
Okay. I mean, same answers here. Charlie Moffitt makes a great point. He's always said this: Jalen and LV are above average linebackers, and one can't stay healthy. And Mendoza kind of backing them up, saying they see that's why the linebacker core needs to be revamped. And most of the people in the comments are saying Blake Jarwin. That's the guy they're looking forward to.
Yeah, Jarwin was definitely in the back of my mind.
Yeah. I mean, in this scheme, it doesn't take a lot for a tight end to be successful, in my opinion.
No.
And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because they see Jarwin getting paid. But my guy Matt O brought up an interesting point, which I always bring up all the time, about what has Jarwin really done. Because Schultz's number last year were better than Jarwin's career numbers. So is Jarwin just like another potential that everybody's kind of hyping up? And you brought this up a few minutes ago, Lambo. That tight end, number one tight end position battle is gonna be huge.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, including myself, have really kind of been stuck on Jarwin ever since the big 3 touchdown game where he blew up on the Giants, I believe it was. But it'll be interesting, man.
Yeah. And we as fans have a tendency to blow a guy up after one game. Look at the wide receiver last year, Devin Smith. He had the 2 touchdown game, and everybody thought, oh, we can let Gallup go and he'll be our next big receiver. Never heard from him again. Cedric Wilson had the 2 big games last year. Everybody blew him up. Garrett Gilbert, in a losing effort, had 2 good drives, and now people are saying he's uncuttable.
Okay, I'm like so guilty of this. I'm gonna take it even further back. Everybody did the same thing with Billy Davis.
You went way back on that one, Lambo.
And I was like the only person I've ever known in my life that had a Billy Davis jersey after like a couple of games.
Yeah, you told that story before about how it was 87, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told that story.
He had like the Cisco blonde hair. Oh man, that was good. Good times. I wish I still had that jersey.
That's a great name, Kevin Ogletree. That's a great one too.
Oh, Kevin Ogletree, 85.
Yep.
Man, players you forget about.
Right.
Kevin
Shane Odom asked, who do you think wins comeback player of the year on Dallas outside of Dak?
Man, it would have to be one of those tackles.
I don't think they would get the love that they would need. I mean, for me personally, if Tyron plays the full year, if he plays 14 games, that's worth it to me.
Yeah.
I would probably say KZ, just because that position is so important to how the defense functions.
Yeah.
If he plays a full year and has a good season, improvement on what we got from Woods, I would probably give it to him.
It'd be nice to see him get 7 picks again.
Right. I would be happy with multiple, 2 or more, because we haven't seen that in a long time from our secondary.
Oh, man, speaking of Dak pacing for 6,000 last year, it still hurts my heart the pace he was on, and to see that, man, I can't get over it.
Yeah.
Can't get over it.
It's going to be great to see him this year. Even in the preseason, I'm excited. Now, DJ Dog brought up a name I'm not even familiar with.
Carl Powell.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Wow, that's one I'm not familiar with, and
You
I
gotta
thought
give
I
me
knew
a year on that one, DJ Dog. Backstory, something.
Damn, I thought I knew them all. I'm disappointed in myself for not knowing who Carl Powell is.
Yeah, and Mo Zavala brings up Lauren Robinson.
Romo made him nice. He had like 11 touchdowns, I think. 11.
He had like 4 of them in one game, I remember. And he turned that into a huge deal in Jacksonville and flamed out.
1985 draft. Okay, I was born in 85. That might be why we don't remember.
Yeah, you went way back on that one, DJ. I give it to you.
Yeah, that's why I didn't remember him.
All right, Lambo. So let me pivot to another topic real quick. And this one, I have a take on it, and I'm shocked I haven't seen anybody else talk about this so far. And that's the Ben McAdoo hiring.
The consultant.
Yeah, so everybody was kind of up in the air and seeing that we hired Ben McAdoo, former offensive coordinator and head coach for the New York Giants. He's been hired as a consultant for the Cowboys. And I've seen everybody making comments about the whole nepotism thing and what is he really going to do. And first of all, every team has nepotism. Like, these coaches take care of each other. That's why every time you see Shanahan, you're going to see his son on the staff, or you see Gruden brothers. One follows the other one. Stuff like that happens all the time. Look at Belichick. His son was a coach on his staff. That happens often. But for this one in particular, there's a rule in the collective bargaining agreement that nobody's talked about, and I'm still surprised by this. Coaches are limited to how much time they get to spend with players in the offseason. So the reason this McAdoo signing is a great signing, that rule doesn't apply to consultants.
Okay.
Now, you guys look at Ben DiNucci, the pet cat of Mike McCarthy last year. He looked awful when he got a chance to play. And then you look at Gary Gilbert, which everybody loves, but he could still do some refining because he's still a relatively young guy in the league. You bring in a guy like Ben McAdoo. He's a former OC quarterback coach for Mike McCarthy. He can go and work with these guys in the offseason when the OC and the quarterback coach can't. So that's the significance of this hire. It's not him just trying to give his friend a job because he needs a job. It's him trying to work with his quarterbacks outside of the team in a way that's kind of been in the rules. He's putting a guy that he trusts to teach the quarterbacks the way he wants them to be taught. And I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, that's very smart. It's very smart. And that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna ask you, wasn't he a former quarterback coach with McCarthy?
Right. He was.
I mean, it makes sense. And we all know McCarthy, how he is about, trying to develop quarterbacks. And so, I mean, I trust what he's doing.
Yeah. And you look at it this way. And DJ Dog asked about McAdoo counting against our salary cap. Coaches don't count against the salary cap. So the point I was about to make, and it kind of leads into this, you got 2 young, basically league minimum players at a premium position, and they need coaching. You don't expect them to be able to go out and hire a guy like Ben McAdoo themselves to help train them in the offseason. Like you see Zeke with the trainer, and you see CD working with the trainer, and Diggs and all those guys. These young guys don't have the money for that. So this is smart for a guy like McCarthy to get the team to pay for a consultant who can basically go and train these guys in the offseason.
Yeah.
And Matt Owens says he benched Eli, so I like him for that alone.
Is Hundley still around? Or
they didn't sign him.
I was kind of hoping. He was. I always kind of liked him.
And I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back either when we start training camp, because we need camp arms, and we need experienced camp arms. Like, just because they sign him doesn't mean he's going to make the roster, but you do need a competent quarterback who can run your second and third string offense in the in training camp and preseason.
Yeah.
Because you don't want Ben DiNucci to have to go out there and lead a third string offense in a preseason game. You're not going to get a good chance to see what you got from those guys.
All right.
And then you take it to next year, which I think they kind of feel the writings on the wall that we looked up this year and our OC didn't get a job offer. But don't be shocked to see Dak have a huge year, and then Kellen Moore started to get some big offers from some teams. And this kind of sets us up to be in place to bring in a McCarthy guy and him be able to run the offense the way he wants to without there being a huge transition, because he's already got Ben McAdoo kind of in the background laying the foundation with these young guys.
Yeah, definitely, man. J Tuck in the house.
Doing it, man. Yeah. Cowboys fans only. If you guys haven't already, make sure you go check him out. He's doing some great stuff over there, getting some great guests, always on point with his knowledge. Definitely appreciate you tuning in and joining us tonight.
Yeah. Check him out on Twitter too. He's always got some fun tweets.
Yeah, he's a great follow on Twitter as well. DJ Dog says they signed Johnny Dixon from the group of players who tried out for the team when Huntley was trying out too. That's an interesting point. Again, I talked about this already. Special teams is going to get ramped up when you get Bones in here again. So they're looking for their core players. I think he's looking for his core. And we just lost Joe Thomas, who was one of his core players last year. Looking at the direction of the team, I talked about this during the draft, and since then, Quinn has a type of player that he likes. So some of your favorite players may not be on the roster. And I'm looking at a guy like a Bradley Anai, maybe even Francis Bernard, even though I think special teams may secure him. They need replacements to backfill those spots. And I feel like guys like Johnny Dixon and Rico Dowdle playing positions, they're trying to rebuild their core because, again, 2017, 2018, we lost Rod Smith, we lost Keith Smith, we lost Wilson to the Chiefs. Those were three of our 5 or 6 best special teams guys. And the special teams suffered dramatically because of that.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen again.
No.
Our offense is too good to let field position be the reason we lose games, because we don't have competent guys who can get a tackle on a punt returner inside the 40-yard line.
Yeah, our average starting field position after the year after just those losses was bad.
It was
very bad. And geez, man, the comments are lighting up quick.
They are. Yeah.
What's up, Jeff? Jeff's in the house. Stashman's in the house. Doing the Cowboy Del Woo.
Stashman, thank you for joining. Yeah, Matt. I love Keith Smith too. Loved him as a person. Loved him as a player. He was definitely a hard-nosed fullback.
Yeah.
Great special teamer. Him and I forgot about Kayvon Frazier too. We lost him around that time.
Yeah.
So and those guys were like tight-knit off the field. Like they were really a unit of players that kind of stuck together. And we lost that. I remember, and I know my guy Jeff is here. We did those Cowboy takeovers with Cynthia Bowen in Miami, and Keith Smith and Kayvon Frazier and Rod Smith. Those guys were like brothers. Like Rod was closer with Kayvon than he was with Jalen at some points. That's how close that special teams unit was. And we lost all of that at one time. And we can't do that again. And DJ Dog talks about my pet cat.
He's a big man playing
Hurst.
safety.
Yeah, definitely. And when he was in Minnesota, he played nickelback, wheel linebacker, and free safety.
Was he like 6'4", 220 something?
6'4", 225, yeah.
Yeah.
Great movement skills.
Yeah.
Great awareness. Yeah, and Matt Owen talks about 2019. We had the second worst starting field position in the league. Definitely. Just like I talked about. Go back and look. Look at who we lost 2018.
The punter didn't help with that situation either.
Yeah, the punter didn't help either.
Which is why in 2019 I was begging for a freaking my guy King.
Yeah.
All year I was like, why is King not signed to this team?
Yeah, and Mendoza brings up another good point, talking about Tyler B doesn't have any familiarity with Dak. That's definitely going to be something to keep your eye on. And just a position battle in general. You got to keep your eye on that at center, because we all assume it's Connor McGovern, but we haven't seen him take a snap at center since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
DJ Dog, yeah. Kayvon did just sign with the Bengals, so they just got a great special teamer. I'm not normally for bringing guys back, but I would love to see Kayvon come back on this team. More than Thompson. Like if we could have let Thompson go and brought Kayvon back, I'd have been all for that.
Yeah, 100%. Hey Mia, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Who was Mia, Lambo?
I don't know. That's a new.
I thought you knew who it was. I'm sorry.
No, it's a new viewer.
Mia, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your support. Professor O saying that's a product of not getting good production on special teams and defense rarely getting 3 and outs. Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. But there are 3 phases to the team. The special teams has to take some of the blame for that as well. A lot of it, in my opinion, remembering how bad they looked that year and how they couldn't get returners on the ground. Oh, okay.
Daughter. Okay.
Man's daughter.
I knew the last name looked familiar. Well, thank you for tuning in, Mia. Appreciate it.
Definitely. And Shane Odom says if the Cowboys don't make strides with the talent, McCarthy needs to be on the hot seat. Definitely agree. Like I said a few minutes ago, Kellen Moore is going to get some offers if the offense looks good. So if the team doesn't look good, you may see a change made here to keep him here. Jeff asked the question, are we going to sign Hundley? I'm leaning towards yes, only because of what I talked about with the young quarterbacks. I feel like they need a mentor, and you don't want to put that on Dak coming back from an injury. Just bring in a veteran guy. Tell him your job is to talk to and train the young guys. Put as many ears as you can around our future quarterbacks. So I would love to see him come in, even if he's our number 3. All right, Lambo, you got any other things that stood out about OTAs for you so far?
Not much, really. I mean, like you, I kind of don't take too much in that I hear in OTAs.
Yeah.
I try to wait. The thing that stood out the most to me is why Dak's doing Adidas dirty like that. That's my brand, man. He's out here wearing the black Jordans. Something's going on. They say Dak's about to leave Adidas, even though he's under contract.
Hey, moment out.
Stripes all day. Let's go. Anyway.
Yeah, we just talked about this, DJ Dog. Great question. Do you think we sign Looney as a backup center since it's a mystery? That's a tough one. Again, if there's an injury on a team in the league, Looney's going to be the next guy up. So I think if they want to bring him back, they have to make a move soon, because there's no way a guy with double digit, well, we can say at least 20 starts at a position who's 30 or under is going to be sitting at home for long if there's an injury that happens. So if we want to bring him back, I think we have to do it soon. But we drafted Matt Farniok in the 7th round. They're playing him at center a little bit. And then, of course, we've got McGovern. I think he's getting some snaps at center, even though we haven't seen him. And then we got Tyler B. So we have 3 centers right now, potentially. But I still wouldn't feel comfortable with going into the season with those 3 guys if I had to choose right now, because what did Tyler B start 4 games last year? So we have
something like that.
Yeah, we have 3 centers on our team with a combined 4 NFL starts. That position is way too important with the offensive line to have a guy with 4 career starts, because that's the second most position in terms of calling protection than the quarterback. And we're leaving it in the hands of a guy, 2 guys who've never played a snap at the position, and 1 guy who's a second-year player who only got 4 starts. Eric Berger asked, when do we cut the Adidas ad? When we get back on the show. Okay, I think Lambo's going to get something. We'll see what he comes back with. So while Lambo's up, again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're 57 minutes. Again, appreciate your support. You guys been bringing great comments. I plan on going over the 53-man roster a little bit, but we're right at an hour. And I'll see if Lambo wants to talk about
it. The Adidas ad on the Game of Thrones, next Game of Thrones episode, baby.
Those are nice.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorites. The Targaryen Dragons. Boost game, man. Boost game.
All right, Lambo, you got a few more minutes?
Give me my money, Adidas. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So we got a few more minutes. Let's talk 53-man roster. We won't talk players, but we'll talk about how many people we think we're going to keep at each position. So I kind of went through this, and I put up my numbers, and we can kind of go through it, and I'll get everybody's opinion. And then over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably start to put names in those positions, and we can kind of let you guys see, like, some of the guys that we really like, there may not be a space for them. And practice squad is not a bad thing.
Nope.
All right, Lambo, you want to start with offense or defense?
We can start with offense. Real quick, I want to say I love our viewers right now, because that's what I'm talking about, Charlie.
Everybody's team Adidas.
And Matt, I got to hit on this real quick. The White Walkers, I wanted those. And obviously the White Walkers and the Targaryen Dragons are sold out like crazy, so I had to go to StockX. The Targaryen Dragons I got for like $240. The White Walkers are running like 300 and something. I was like, I'm not going to go that far. I would love to have the White Walkers, though, if they did a restock. Anyway, all right, back to football.
All right, before we go into the 53-man roster, Shane Odom asked a question. He says he feels like we haven't addressed 2 needs on our team. That's backup quarterback and safety. Why haven't they given a look at Earl Thomas?
There's got to be something they don't like with his character, man.
Yeah, I would agree. You're bringing in one of his old coaches. You got DB guys on your team who probably will support him as well. There's got to be a lot to his story that people don't like. Or it could be him. Like, we all assume that nobody wants to touch Earl Thomas. The problem could be Earl Thomas doesn't want to take a pay cut to come in and earn a spot like Antonio Brown had to do. Because when he got cut from the Steelers, he said he wasn't coming back until he got a certain payday. Mm-hmm. And the Raiders were the suckers to give it to him. And then he screwed up with the Raiders. And then he was forced to take whatever he could get. So I wouldn't be shocked if the issue is not Earl Thomas. It's Earl Thomas not wanting to come in on a heavy incentive-laden deal to get another opportunity.
Yeah. And you make a good point, Eric. I mean, I said there's got to be some kind of character concerns, but I mean, you look at our draft and doesn't necessarily seem like that's a big deal to Dallas these days. So
yeah, looking at some of the guys we drafted, and it's not as big of a deal as it used to be. Yeah, Charlie says 32 teams. I think it's money. I really do. I think he's upset because he got cut and he was owed like $9 million from Baltimore, and he probably still feels like he has it. I mean, ego comes into play with these guys. You got to remember, these guys all think they're the best ever, and Earl was playing very good before he left. So maybe a bunch of teams are offering him 1 year, $1 million deals with incentives, and he's saying, you know what? I'm not even gonna lace it back up for that kind of money.
Man,
So
I would lace it up.
we put it on the teams, but it could be the player just as much.
Could you imagine not lacing up for $1 million?
Oh no, I couldn't.
Bro, I would lace up for 28 grand. And I didn't even know that, Professor O.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about that.
But,
just because he's not a Cowboy, I don't really hear stuff about it. If he was on the Cowboys practice squad like 7 years ago, but had played the past 5 years for the Steelers, and he got arrested, they would say former Cowboy is what the headline would say.
Yeah, that's true. And again, Lambo, we talk about that, but remember, Earl Thomas' last deal was like $15-16 million a year.
Yeah, screw
for
that.
us, $1 million is a lot of money, but for a guy like that who was making it $1 million a game to go to $1 million for a season, no, I don't think you do that.
That's
And
like, yeah, you're right. That's like me dropping from like 19 an hour to like to $9 an hour. It's like, nah, I'm even gonna do it for that.
Right, you can find something else to do than take that kind of pay cut,
right,
and do the same work you were doing before. So yeah, we got to remember that, guys. This is not all on the teams. The players have a say in this as well. All right, so let's before we go into the 52-55 roster, DJ Dawg brings up a point about keep at least 8 to 9 linebackers. That sounds good, but there's no way you can keep that many linebackers on the team just from roster development. You will have to be extremely thin at a couple of spots to do something like that. All right, so let's get into it real quick, and we'll touch base on it quickly, and then we'll probably recap it next week when we come back, because next week we're going to probably start throwing players' names in these spots. But I just want to put it out there in the atmosphere for you guys to kind of think about, so that when we come back next week and we start putting names out there, you'll kind of know why your favorite player may not have made the cut, because the numbers are finite. All right, so let's go. Lambo said he wanted to go offense first. So let's check out the offensive position first. All right. So this is what I put together for offense. Now, historically, the offense has less players than the defense. And I feel like this number is kind of low, but I couldn't really kind of figure out what to do on the defensive side. So Lambo, let's start off with quarterback. And
okay,
I'll put players on this one.
I like what you're doing here. You're getting that 6 wide receiver, or in the 3rd running back. I like that.
I mean, 3rd running back is Rico Dowdle. They've already shown he's going to play every special teams.
That's what I was going to say. I assume that's Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
And the way the 2 quarterbacks make sense to me, because there's not a 3rd quarterback worth rostering.
Exactly.
Is why. If there was a guy that I felt was the kind of talent and potential, obviously, like when Romo was in that type of position, you've seen something in the guy, you want to hold on to him. I don't see that, so as of right now, yeah, I completely agree with the whole 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle, I like to see him as the 3rd running back. I'm always.
Let me say this before you move on, Lambo.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about this all the time. A practice squad is not a death sentence. Practice squad is very important to a team. And most of the time, teams play games where they may keep a guy on the roster because they don't think they can clear waivers. Last year, Mike McCarthy felt like DiNucci's going to be my guy. He has a lot of potential. I'm not going to risk him in the practice squad. We've seen a game or so of tape on him. There's no risk of him not clearing waivers this year. That's why I put 2 quarterbacks.
That's a good point. And have the practice squad rules changed for this year? Or is it kind of? Have you heard anything about that?
They haven't come out with anything yet. As of right now, it's 12 players. Last year, it was supposed to go to 12, but then they added 16. So as of right now, I know there are at least 12 practice squad players.
Okay.
And normally it's 8 players, and then it went up to 10 players. So 12 is a lot. We can get a lot of guys out there. I'm sorry, Lambo. I cut you off at Rico Dowdle.
Oh, I'm with you all the way, actually, all the way through. Tight end, 3 seems like a good number for me. Obviously, Jarwin and Schultz, and then that third spot's probably going to be between Sprinkle and McKeon. Is my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a special teams guy again. Special teams are important.
Yeah.
When you got 2 guys like Schultz and Jarwin, who you expect to just completely dominate all the offensive snaps, one of them or both, the third guy is going to be a purely special teams guy.
Yep. Yeah, and I think there's be between Sprinkle and McKeon. I mean, Artavius Lynn is an interesting guy. He'll probably be more of a practice squad guy.
I like him a lot for special teams. It's going to be interesting.
I like Lynn too. When I was doing mock drafts, I found myself grabbing him around the 7th and the 6th in quite a few mock drafts that I was doing.
And he can move.
Yeah. So preseason, it'd be fun to see some preseason football and see these guys out there, man. A wide receiver going 6 this year. So are your thoughts that Wilson and Brown and Simi?
I'm still working on that one, but as of right now, that would be my bottom 3. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm concerned with all the receivers they brought in.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that kid from Iowa. I really like him, and I think he's going to be a special teams guy. And I feel like he can give you kind of that Michael Gallup type play. I think he's going to flash. And then you got Brandon Eagles, who's a special teams guy who's 6'4", 220.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got TJ Vasher, who's going to make some circus catches in preseason that are going to open some eyes.
Yeah, but then you would wonder what he's going to do on special teams to contribute,
right. Exactly.
Which will be his which will hurt him some. Do we still have what's his name from last year from the small school? Was it Rhode Island? Was it Anthony Parker?
Yeah, Parker.
He had a very impressive resume.
He's still around. He's still around.
And who knows what that year practice squad did for him.
Yeah. I see Mendoza says he has 1 less than he has, and he has the 3 quarterbacks instead of 2. I just feel like there's no way we should be concerned about somebody snatching DiNucci up. We can go 2 and put him on the practice squad.
No, I would be happy if somebody snatched him up, honestly, because I don't want to see him back.
and J Tuck just kind of said what you said, talking about Vasher. He's gonna make some highlight catches, but my concern with him is he got bullied a lot at the college level.
Yeah.
These NFL DBs are gonna eat his lunch at the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he can get some separation once or twice and get downfield like in shorts, he'll probably make some highlight catches when he can get separation, but I feel like once the pass comes on, it's going to be a different player.
I feel like he's a dude that we're going to lose to another team.
I agree. I see Matt O has 10 offensive linemen. I'm still kind of tinkering with that as well, and we'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to put names to it yet because I want to save that for next week. But I appreciate all you guys in the comments putting names out there. DJ Dog, I just talked about the kid from Iowa, talking about his best footballs in front of him. If you guys haven't had a chance, just go watch that kid. Like, he's 6'2", 215, 22 reps on the bench. He's a 4.4 runner, 41-inch vertical. He plays above the corner's head. He just has inconsistent hands. But he can block. He could probably come in and be our best blocking receiver. And that's with Noah Brown.
I was going to say, that's saying a lot with Noah Brown.
Yeah, that kid loves contact. And that makes me think he's going to be the same way on special teams. And Mendoza talks about Steele and Knight. Knight would have the leg up. And I feel like Knight is, because we have Ball now, I feel like Knight is going to be more considered a guard tackle than just a pure left tackle, because we got a guy like Ball who can play some swing tackle a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes Knight even more important. And Charlie Muff said somebody wants to do Goofy, let them have him. Yeah, I just don't see any chance of him being at risk of being snatched up from our practice squad. And once you get him there, the team can pay him whatever they want to pay him to keep him there. They just have to get him to clear waivers. That's the name of the game, clearing waivers. Because if there's a guy the team really likes, like they did with Rico Gathers, he was the highest paid practice squad player in the league for 2 years. And people don't talk about that. He made more than the backup tight ends on the roster while he was here. And that was because he cleared waivers, they put him on the practice squad, and they paid him so well that either another team didn't want to match it or he just didn't want to leave that kind of paycheck. So something to remember. All right, so I got 23 players here. It's kind of thin. I want to squeeze a 24th one in, but we got so much on defense. I just don't know. J Tuck says McCarthy can't hide players this year. I think we can hide DiNucci. I'm not concerned about anybody taking DiNucci from us. Now, some of the other positions, it might be a bit iffy on those, but McCarthy does like to keep 3 quarterbacks, so it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen. And Mendoza saying 4 OTs, 2 guards, 2 center guard flexes, and 1 pure center. 4, 6. I'm kind of on those lines as well.
Yeah, sounds about good.
Except I have Brandon Knight as a tackle guard, so it'd be kind of 1 center guard, 1 guard tackle flex as well. All right, so a position I want to point out, Lambo, and Eric Berger hit on it as soon as I put this up. I did not put a fullback on the 53. What are your thoughts on that?
You got Dalton Schultz.
We got Sean McKeon as an H-back too, if that's your third tight end.
I like McKeon. He showed a teeny bit.
College, yeah.
Yeah.
I know everybody likes the little undrafted rookie free agent we picked up. What's his name?
Oh,
Nick Ralston from University of Louisiana.
What about Saywell?
Yeah, I forgot about Saywell too. I know people like him as well. But and DJ Dog says Sprinkle gets no love. He's in the competition. He has to beat out a guy like McKeon. But again, I still feel like the offensive side of the ball is a little thin. I feel like there's one more spot that could open up on him. But when I say that, let's go to the defensive side of the ball, and then you guys try to help me figure out
Mendoza,
where that spot can be.
We agree. Eric. Dang.
Where's Terry Rudd when you need him? He's got a supporter. Yeah, and Mendoza says he agrees a tight end will play fullback. I mean, if this offense looks the way we think it's going to look with 3 wide and 2 athletic tight ends, there's not going to be a lot of fullback plays anyway. What, two snaps a game?
I would love to see Zeke running behind a fullback.
I would too.
I would like to see it, but I don't foresee that
Keep
actually
them
happening.
like they did with Antoine Woods early in the season.
Yeah.
Big D tackle at fullback and let them plow the hole. And Great Point Mendoza says Schultz took those snaps last year. Brian, they were joking. They don't like running backs. They're not really serious about that.
Yeah, Jeff Cavanaugh's in that same position, but he just says take a wide receiver and put him at running back.
Yeah.
And
I mean, technically, in my opinion, that's what we did with Pollard. Pollard's a better receiver than running back. I've said that since day one.
Man, his yards after contact was up there on a recent stat I seen among the at least per the amount of carries he had. He was up there in the top of the league, which I didn't realize.
Mendoza said Bohanna's gonna line up at fullback and throw a pass. Hold on, I gotta do this real quick.
Bold predictions.
Those are with the early bold prediction.
Man, we need to get some funny sound bites, like some Will Ferrell stuff.
I need to start adding that stuff in. I need to do it
for certain comments. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, Jeff, that's like we said. Bohanna at fullbacks, it's a great option. And
a big ass fullback.
It is.
Man.
Marlo, thank you for joining us. He asked the question: do you think they'll use the empty set? Maybe a little bit.
With that coming back from the injury he's came back from,
I
could see Zeke being in the backfield a lot on certain passing downs.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
At least initially, a little more so than not. The first few games of the season, I could see him hanging back, providing a little bit of extra protection.
Yeah.
In case there's a missed pickup or something, just kind of playing it safe a little bit, let Dak get his feet under him.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point. All right, let's look at defense real quick. And again, like I said, we're gonna recap this again next week. I just want to kind of put it in everybody's mind, just so when Lambo and I really sit down and determine who makes the 53, you guys won't be shocked to see your favorite player didn't make it, because you kind of see positions are thin, and you guys are already kind of throwing names out there on offense. Let's see what you guys do when we put this defensive side of the ball up. So let me know your opinion on the defensive side of the ball. So on defense, I got 26 players right now. So Lambo, go ahead, take a look at this real quick. Kind of give me your assessment on these positions. Did I go too low or too high at a certain spot?
I like what I'm seeing. I'm just so obviously this year, linebacker and cornerback are the two positions where it's going to get down to
a battle.
Yeah, man, it's going to be tough. And as fans, it's going to be tough as well, because a lot of us have our pet cats and those guys that we like. And some of those guys, honestly, really haven't even got a fair shake to show what they have, and might not even get much of one. I'm sitting here trying to think of my 6 linebackers and 6 cornerbacks in my head.
I mean, I don't want to give it away, but we got the 2 incumbent starters, Jalen and LV.
Yep.
We got the 2 rookies in Parson and Cox.
Yep.
We got the guy we just signed in Neal. That leaves one spot. Choose your favorite linebacker, everybody.
See, here it comes down to Luke Gifford and Francis Bernard. It's Gifford, who can't stay healthy, but it looks like he could have some good talent. And then Francis Bernard. I'd probably be leaning towards Bernard.
I think for special teams purposes, I think it would be Bernard, but I wouldn't be shocked to see them bring another guy in.
Yeah. But 6 sounds right. And cornerback is where it really gets crazy.
Yeah. And Jay Tuck, thank you for bringing this one up, because I talked about this guy last week, and that is the linebacker out of Texas A&M, Anthony Hines.
Oh, already had it ready.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Cowboy zone.
I talked about this last week. If he would have played last year in 2020, he would have probably been a 4th round pick.
All right, I got to give you some props, Bluff.
Yeah.
Like, how many? All right, nobody can name one show they've been watching where someone brought up a name like Anthony Hines, and there was a slideshow or a picture present and ready to throw up of Anthony Hines. That's crazy.
Unprepared slide.
That's what's up.
That wasn't prepared. I just had it ready.
That's awesome. Wow.
Now, DJ Dog says 6 defensive ends with a question mark.
I mean, yeah.
So, DJ Dog, let me know in the comments. Do you think it should be more than 6 or less than 6? And if it's more than 6, what position are you cutting short?
Something that tells me he means less, but that makes me curious.
Appreciate that, J Tuck. I'm not on your level with the graphics yet, but I try to do it the best I can. I think he's thinking more than 6 because he thought we should keep 8 or 9 linebackers. But yeah, there are only so many spots on the team. You got to make tough decisions.
So I'm still over here, cornerback. So
all right,
I got to go through this in my head because, man, a lot of people forget about Kennedy opting out last year. They forget about Reggie Robinson coming back to cornerback. They forget about Goodwin, who needs to be here because he's a special teams ace, absolute beast on special teams. And that we're talking about the bottom of the roster with these guys.
Right. So, DJ Dog, again, I don't have names right now in terms of who I would keep in terms of my 6. I'm still working on that. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out how many positions we're going to keep at every spot before I can put names.
Keep tuning in, though, because we always do a roster predictions and stuff where we literally put the players that we think are making the team before it happens. So we will have our full list of who we think's making the full 53.
Off the top of my head, I'll say this: D-Law, Gregory, and Basham, and Golston are pretty much secure. So that's 4 spots gone. That's 4 spots. And J Tuck asked the question: where do we count Osa at?
Yeah,
I personally count him as a defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another question you got to look at. Who's the odd man out there?
Yeah, he's a light one, but they say he plays much bigger.
Oh yeah, he definitely
much bigger. But go to cornerback real quick. So
all right. So before I say that, Mendoza has 26 too. He has 7 corners, which is interesting. And he says it could be 5 DNs or 7 linebackers, which is very interesting.
I like 7 corners.
And
I don't know.
That's a lot of corners.
They won't do it, I don't think.
No, they won't. I don't think
there's so many I want to see on the team that for my fan purposes, my fan hat on.
And Mendoza says they have position flex guys too. Yeah, I agree. And again, great comments, everybody. Make sure you guys come back next week when we actually put names to it, because you're kind of influencing how me and Lambo will go next week once we get to the 53.
Jeff, damn it. I don't like the pick either, but if our 3rd round pick don't make the team, I'm really going to be even more pissed about it.
We should just fire Quinn before the season starts if our 3rd round pick doesn't make the team.
Oh man, I'm going to be mad if he don't make it. Like, I've been bashing it so much. I'm like, you know what? I want him to make the team. I want this to be rubbed in my face. I want all that. And if he don't make the team, bro, oh my God, I'm going to be so mad, especially when Melifonwu or Molden comes out and has a solid rookie year or something. All right, so we got
DJ Dog. I'm counting Urban as a defensive tackle. He's definitely a defensive tackle.
Definitely a defensive tackle.
All right. Any other comments? I see J Tuck, Diggs, KJ Goodwin, Robinson, J Lou, then Wright/AB. I've made my case on that one. So Lambo, let's go to corner real quick.
All right, Diggs, Brown, Lewis.
Hold on a second. Before you start, let me put it this way. We've got one guy we know is coming back in Diggs.
Yep.
We know J Lou's coming back because of contract.
Yep.
We drafted Boss Man Fat, so he's coming back.
3.
We drafted Wright.
4.
CJ Goodwin is far and away our best special teams player. That's 5.
That's already 5, and
That's 5.
we're almost. I mean, it's near 100% chance that those guys are going to be inactive. Close to it, anyways.
So now you got Anthony Brown, Kennedy, Reggie Robinson. And we can talk about this next week, but I just want to put it out there. We just named 5 corners that are almost guaranteed a spot because of where they were drafted and how they're being paid. And I named 3 guys everybody likes. There's going to be a tough cut made.
Anthony Brown is, been a solid piece to the defense for a while. He's not amazing, but he's familiar. I mean, he's a locker room guy. He's been around. He's been solid. But like we've said, we've kind of have a feeling that Anthony Brown might be on his way out of here. I mean, you know what you got in Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
I take the upside in a Reggie Robinson if it's me.
Now this is interesting because last week Professor O said he only keeps 5 corners, and I just named 5. So I don't know out of those 5 which one he cut to keep Brown, because I think and Professor O, if you're still here, let me know. You said you keep Brown, right? And one of the 5 I just named will be gone. Now, Jeff, Jeff is just thinking Wright won't make it,
which makes the pick even worse. I will throw up. Yeah.
Now, Jeff made another point. What was the point? It was something about, I think it said Wright practice squad maybe for Wright. Again, I don't think it'll happen because he was a 3rd round pick. But let me say this. Everybody in Cowboys Nation assumed that Wright wasn't a draftable player. And we were the only ones who thought he was. Now, if the rest of the league thought that as well, maybe he could. But I highly doubt it.
I don't see any way that a front office and whoever is behind that pick, such as Quinn, saying because of a bad camp or something that, all right, we're gonna cut this as a loss with the 3rd round pick. I mean, they obviously liked him enough to overdraft him that early. That tells me he's gonna have a little bit of a leeway when it comes to getting up to game speed for at least 2 years.
Yep, I agree. And Brian brings up the great point. Don't forget they use the cap as a way to cut guys. That's my whole opinion, and I'll talk about this again. Your highest pay, if it goes the way everybody thinks, Diggs, Lewis, Boss Man, Fat are going to be your top 3 corners. And then Wright may mix in as your 4th. It's between Wright and Brown.
Yeah.
Your highest paid corner can't be your number 4 corner.
Right.
If you scream salary cap and believe it as much as our team does. So either Brown's going to be your number 1 or he's going to be your number 4 and he's out of here.
All I know is if Reggie Robinson isn't on this team week 1, he better have at least had his opportunity to prove himself in preseason, because I'm still pissed off that I haven't really seen any Reggie Robinson, because we know the athlete he is. He's got the size. This is a tremendous athlete, ton of skill. Like, I need to see him on the field.
Yeah, and I'm with you, J Tuck. You're not cutting the top 100 pick. I think the last time that happened was Maurice Claret. And somebody, please correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I think that or the wide receiver from Kentucky that Oakland drafted last year and cut him. I can't think of his name. Little short guy. He played quarterback for Kentucky.
Can't even remember.
He played quarterback and wide receiver. I think he was a 3rd round pick, if I'm not mistaken. But those are the only 2 situations I can remember a top 3 round pick not making a team. And DJ Dog says, I keep Curse, label him as a linebacker safety, Armstrong and Gifford on the bubble. I mean, I love Curse. I mean, as soon as we signed him, I said he's going to make the secondary room interesting. But once we get into these positions, we'll break this down more next week. And DJ Dog, great point. I talked about this last year. As much as I love Jordan Lewis, Awuzie and Brown have beat him every year he's been in the league. Every year he's been behind both of them. But money talks. That's the only thing that helps him out this year. J Tuck says Robinson fits the Quinn mold. He deserves a fair shot.
Definitely.
Again, we named 5 guys. There's only one spot left between Kennedy, Robinson, and Brown. It should be a very interesting conversation next week when Lambo and I put this together. I mean, reports today were Brown started off as the starting outside corner, so that's promising. So we'll see if that sways anyone's opinion about who our top 6 corners are. So again, make sure you guys join us next week when we put our players with the positions and give our very early 53-man roster projections. Okay, Lambo, before I put the total up here, is there any other position you think I may have too low or too high? Because whatever we say tonight is going to be what we go off of for next week.
No, I thinking of in my head, I like where this is at. The only thing I don't like about this is seeing those 3 devilish numbers in the middle there side by side. But no, yeah, I like everything. I'm with you on this.
Okay, because I see some people saying 5 defensive ends, 7 linebackers, or whatever. Good question, Marlo. How much do we save if we cut Brown? If I'm not mistaken, I believe we save about $2.5 million if we make them a post-June 1 cut. And some people say that's not a lot, but in Dallas Cowboy cap world, that could possibly be another starter. Or it could be 2 more role players. And then you got to look at it. You're basically saving $2 million and you're putting Robinson in if you like Robinson. So it's more than just the money you're saving. It's what guy will replace him. If you think Robinson has the potential to be a better player than Brown. And DJ Dog says Robinson made a play in OTAs. Brian says he thinks we only keep 2 running backs. I think with the Rico Dowdle talk, I think he secured a spot, just special teams purposes. J Tuck says it's a 9 out. I haven't put names to positions yet, J Tuck. Next week we'll have to see what I decide to do in terms of defensive end. So that'll be interesting. Right now, Gregory, Basham, and D-Law, in my opinion, are the only 3 defensive ends that are safe. So there are 3 positions left. And I could squeeze in there. And I forgot about Golston. So that's 4. So it's 2 left. And I could squeeze in. You just don't know.
Tune back in for the next episode.
Right. 7:30 Central Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern, next Thursday. All right,
My
so
daughter's mad.
Lambo, let's get out of here real quick. And let's go to the last spot because I don't know if anybody kept up with the math. But I only listed 52 players, and there's a 53-man roster. So, guys, in the comments, before we go, whoever's left, help us out here real quick. I had a tough position, and thank you, Charlie, for confirming it for me. I thought it was 2.5 million. Thank you for confirming it. So I have 52 players. Lambo, everybody in the audience, we got 1 position left. Let me know where you think we should put it at. Lambo, taking a look at this real quick. Where would you put that last player at? What position?
My first initial thought, I was kind of leaning towards offensive line.
I was too.
Yeah, like this. I mean, the injury concerns that we do have. Having as much depth as possible doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and guys, I didn't put them on the screen because I was trying to save space. I already assumed long snapper, kicker, and punter is included in the 52. I didn't forget on Brian, but Thank you guys for being aware and catching that. They're included in the 52. Yeah, Charlie, I did count punter, kicker, and long snapper. I just didn't put them on the screen. We
But
already
yeah.
know who those guys are.
Yeah, I would probably go 10 with the O-line.
Okay, so you go 10 O-line. I could be persuaded to go 5 D tackles.
I could too. Depending on who. Yeah. Because like you said, we got Urban, we got Gallimore, we got Hill, we got Bohanna
and Osa.
and Osa. Yeah, I could easily be persuaded with 5 because I don't want to see. I'd like to see all those guys make the team.
Yeah, but life doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, doesn't.
Mendoza, great question. We'll touch on that one next week when we do the full 53. Anger is a veteran punter, but Nice Wonder showed a lot of good stuff last year. So this is something me and Lambo have to sit down and talk about and see where we are.
Pay attention to their contract.
All right, so far J Tuck says go 5 DTs. So basically keep Bohanna. And Brian says 5 DTs or another corner safety. All right, so Lambo, man, you still stick with O-line? We'll let somebody else be a tiebreaker.
Oh man, it's tough. I'm like, man, I'm between O-line and D tackle.
Yeah. I'm looking at the starting 5 offensive linemen, and then I'm looking at the backups. I'm looking at McGovern, Ball, Knight, Steele, and then Ty Nasecki.
We do have some O-linemen that got really good position flex, so that makes me feel a little bit better. So,
McGovern can play center guard. Knight can play guard tackle. Steele's pretty much what he is. Nasecki's pretty much what he is. But even with that, one of those guys would have to go because that's 5 backups.
Yeah.
So if we keep it as is right now, we're going to be short on a defensive tackle, or we're probably going to be short on an offensive tackle. Now, Keith says he'd rather keep Bohanna than Steele. I don't know if I agree with that one. As much as we hated Steele, Steele did come in as an undrafted free agent and start damn near full season and wasn't awful.
Yeah.
He wasn't what we wanted.
He got better as the games went on.
For an undrafted guy to come in and start 15 games, I got to give him his props. He wasn't the one that got Dak killed, which is what I thought would have happened. So that's interesting. I know people have their pet cats and they don't want to let them go. But, all right, Lambo, as of right now, it looks like the 53rd spot will be 5 defensive tackles.
Let's do it.
All right. So everybody take a good look at this. Put a 5 in the place of the 4 with defensive tackle. And next week on the Cowboy Zone, Lambo and I are going to come back and give our predictions for all 53 spots. Yeah, we stayed a little bit longer than I thought, Lambo, but it was definitely worth it to get that out there, and we'll kind of go through it again quickly next week. DJ Dog, again, on the Bohanna talk, saying he's not going to get cut. It remains to be seen, but you never know. I think people are really falling in love with the fact that he's something we haven't had before. And they're saying that just because he's something we haven't had before, he's untouchable. I don't think that's the case personally, but you never know. And J Tuck, just like you said, the guy got reps last year.
I'll be right in 1 sec.
Go ahead. We're about to close it out. But yeah, he got reps last year at a meaningful position, and a position where a guy's coming off of a hip injury, which is one of the hardest injuries to return from for an NFL player. We've seen players' careers end from hip injuries. And we got Josh Ball, which is a good thing, but it never hurts to have another offensive lineman. I promise you he won't clear waivers. there's no way a tackle who wasn't bad, who wasn't awful, and started 12 games as a young guy, there's no way he clears waivers. I could make a very strong argument that Bohanna will clear waivers. And I hate to give my position this early, but since you guys are adding 5 DTs, I don't think I have to make that decision now. So now I got to decide where I'm going at offensive line between my number 5 player as a backup. And Charlie Moffitt says he thinks we go 5 DTs and 5 DNs. You just don't know. This is one of those things that I disagree on. I don't think you need a big guy to keep the defensive tackle to keep the linebackers clean. I think you just need a guy who knows how to keep the linemen off of the linebackers. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big guy. Because we saw last year, Poe got whooped one-on-one, and he's bigger than Bohanna.
That's true. Size don't always mean anything. And then you look at Osa as a great example of that because his wrestling background, they say he's amazing with his hands. And he may be lighter, but, I mean, he can do some work in those trenches.
Yeah, go check out some stuff that Vach did. Vach did a great breakdown of Osa, and he was constantly taking on double teams and holding his ground.
Yeah.
And Jeff, great point. Position flex will definitely be a key. We have a lot of positions where we could flex at. We talk about Kurz, we talk about Neal, we talk about Cox, we talk about Golston, who can play a little bit of 3-tech, 5-tech. Then you go to the offensive side of the ball. We got center guard tackles. And J Tuck asked a great question. I cannot see us going through training camp without bringing in a center. I just can't see us going through camp with the guys we have. I'm not confident Tyler Biotis can get through a training camp without getting hurt. And if he gets hurt, we're really screwed because now we got McGovern, who hasn't taken a snap at center, and Matt Farniok, who's a 7th-round pick who hasn't taken a snap at all, as our centers. You don't want to put Dak out there in that situation in the preseason or week 1 to be more specific in terms of the way we want the season to go. So I definitely feel like a center has to be picked up at some point. And that changes my perspective on a lot of stuff with what I've said about offensive line. Yeah, I think he's waiting too, Mendoza. He's waiting for Dallas to call back, or he's waiting for that injury to happen because we know it's going to happen somewhere.
He knows, too, this is his best opportunity to bring in the best payday he's ever had, probably. So he's just being patient.
Yeah. If any team loses their center, he's getting a $2 million contract. And I guarantee you right now, Dallas is offering him league minimum. He's going to double his salary just by waiting for a team to lose a center.
Whatever happened to Ronald Leary?
I have no clue.
I feel like he didn't ever even get picked up.
I don't think he did. I think you're right. So Jeff says cut Brown and bring in a center. Hey, I didn't say that. I was thinking it, but I didn't say it. And Marlo, another great point. Does he have the shotgun snap down? Because we're going to be doing a lot of shotgun, and you can't just put a guy.
Why can't we just talk Travis into coming back, man?
I know.
Dang. I'm still pissed off because, I respect his decision. But at the same time, he was like, I just can't. He said he wasn't the player or he wasn't able to play at the caliber that he feels that he's capable of. I'm like, bro, you was still like a top 10 center. he was still like a top 10 center, man.
Yeah.
Even not playing at his best.
I would love to see him come back as a backup / mentor, even if he doesn't touch the field. That would be great for this team.
Yeah. He could come back in and start for the next 4 or 5 years, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather take him as a 3-game starter than not have him at all.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's pretty much it for this week. So I kind of told you guys next week that we are going to break down this 53-man roster even more. We're going to talk about putting players in these positions. And you guys have pretty much talked us into putting a fifth defensive tackle in. So we're going to see who stays and who goes next week on the Cowboy Zone. But before we go, Lambo, let the people know where they can find you.
Y'all can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon at Cowboys Y'all. On Instagram, I'm Cowboys Y'all 88. I just hit 600 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, congratulations.
Just hit, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I hit 600. So definitely, please, guys, subscribe on YouTube. Even if you don't even get on your YouTube, I mean, just go subscribe. Anyways, it helps out a lot because any extra income I can get with 4 kids, I really appreciate it. And you got to get to that 1,000 mark on YouTube before you start getting anything from viewers. So that'd be awesome, even if it's extra $20 a month. So please subscribe on YouTube. It helps more than you know. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Bluff City Cowboys. You can also find me at Twitter at Bluff Cowboys. I think I'm still around 150 subscribers. So if you guys get a chance and you haven't done so already, make sure you check me out and subscribe as well. I say this every week, but I promise I'm going to start doing more videos talking about more topics in between the Cowboy Zone episodes. So, guys, again, thank you for your support. You guys really fueled the show as always. Great comments, great questions. Again, next week, 7:30 Central Standard Time, Thursday, come back for another episode of the Cowboy Zone as we put players' names to these position slots and we give our preliminary 53-man roster. So again, I'm Marcus. This is Lambo. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.
See you guys later.